Today, we're going to dive into a really simple, but honestly, a really powerful story. It's about how a single thought can completely change a reality. It's a tale of two men who meet on a train platform, and what happens between them? Well, it uncovers this universal truth about value, identity, and what it really means to succeed.
So, let's start with this foundational idea. It's from Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, and it's a concept that has inspired millions of people. The core idea? That a person's greatness isn't really determined by their circumstances, but by their thoughts. What goes on inside your head is what matters most.
But, this brings up a huge question, doesn't it? If it's really as simple as just thinking the right thoughts, why do so many of us feel stuck? Why is it so hard to change our situation? Why do we struggle to see our own potential? Well, this story, it gives us a really compelling answer.
All right, so picture this. We're at a busy, bustling railway station, and this is where we meet our two main characters. First, there's a beggar who survives every single day just by asking for alms. And then there's this confident, well-dressed businessman just waiting for his train.
So, the beggar walks up to the businessman hoping for a little money. But instead of getting a coin, he gets a question. The businessman asks, "Have you ever given anything to anyone?" And right there, you see this total clash of worldviews. The beggar, he's coming from a place of scarcity. He truly believes he has nothing to offer. The businessman, on the other hand, he operates on a completely different principle, the principle of value exchange.
And then the businessman says something that just stops the beggar in his tracks. He says, "I believe in exchange. If you can offer me something, I can give you something in return." These words just stun the beggar. I mean, it's a perspective he has never ever considered, and it plants this tiny seed of change deep in his mind.
That one question, that challenge from the businessman, it just sends the beggar spiraling into deep thought. For the very first time, he's questioning the foundation of who he is. He's not just asking for money anymore. Now he's asking himself, what do I actually have to give?
And this is where his transformation really begins. For 2 whole days, he doesn't beg. Not once. He just thinks. And then he notices something he must have walked past 1,000 times. A patch of beautiful wildflowers growing right there by the tracks. And boom, an idea sparks. He decides he's going to stop just taking. He's going to start offering something in return. A single flower for every single coin.
And you know what? The result was immediate, and it was absolutely incredible. People don't just hand him money anymore. They take the flowers and they light up with joy. They smile, they thank him, and they give more generously than ever before. He sees this clear pattern emerge. When he has flowers to give, his donations go way, way up. He's just discovered the power of exchange.
So a little time passes, and one day, while he's happily trading his flowers for coins, the beggar spots a familiar face on the platform. Yep. It's the same businessman, but this time, this encounter is going to be very, very different. The beggar, he's so excited, he runs up to the businessman and offers to sell him a flower. The businessman smiles, he pays for it, and then he delivers this totally game-changing line. He sees the man not as a beggar, but as a peer, a fellow businessman who gets it, who understands the value of a fair trade.
And that's it. That's the big epiphany right there. The beggar finally understands people aren't just giving him money out of pity. No, they are paying for the flowers he's providing. He's not a charity case, he's a trader. He has a business. This one single thought changes everything. He leaves the station that day, and he never, ever returns as a beggar.
So 6 months go by, and that little seed that was planted by a single question, well, it's had plenty of time to grow into something amazing. We're back at that same railway station one last time. 2 well-dressed businessmen meet again. One of them is the man who asked that life-changing question. And the other? Well, he's almost unrecognizable. He's the man who found the answer. And he's now a successful flower business owner, traveling to expand his company. Look, this story isn't just about a beggar, right? It's really a mirror for all of us. It forces us to ask ourselves a really fundamental question about how we see ourselves and what's our place in the world. So what can we actually take away from all this? Well, first, your thoughts really do determine who you become. To get anything in life, you've got to be willing to give something first. And maybe most importantly, how you see yourself is how the world is eventually going to see you. You're not defined by your current situation. You are defined by the potential you choose to unlock. This is the flower seller's final, powerful realization. His circumstances didn't change him. his perception of himself did. He had the potential to be a businessman the whole time. The only thing missing was the belief that he had something of value to offer.
And that, right there, brings us to a final question. A question for you. The beggar found his value in a simple wildflower he had ignored his whole life. So, what flower have you been overlooking in your own life? What unique skill or kindness or idea can you start offering the world starting today?